Right, now we can talk about the main meat of the subject, which is budget cosplay. And the first thing we got to talk about is... What was I? Ah, here we go. Yes, now, surely good costumes are going to cost a lot of money. Cost a lot of money. You know, is it really possible for costumes to be made for a high standard on a tight budget? Because I can't remember, there was this snotty article where you know, accept it. Good costumes cost tons of money. Yeah, I can't remember now. There was this really, really snotty article that was written by a butthurt guy, and it's like I can literally make about 10 shows just off this one article alone. He was saying all kinds of you know, drivel, but it was like, you know, this one of the main points was indeed that real costumes are going to just cost you a ton of money. So I did a bit of research, and I don't think that's actually true. Now, I don't think we pointed this out, Sophie, but you actually won one of the masquerade categories with your £40 costumes. I think it was Armored King, wasn't it?
Yeah,
awesome.
I did Armored King from Tekken because he's been my favourite Tekken character, and actually it was kind of chosen on a bit of a laugh because the year before I did Sophie Kane from Twisted Metal. Also could be seen as a female Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal, and a friend of mine just said, you know what you have to do next year? He said, you got to do something really big next year. And I was like, fine, I'll do Armor King. He went, yeah, do it. And I was like, fine, I'll do it. I ended up doing it. And it really was a case of, how the hell am I going to make that for a start? And what the hell am I going to make it out of?
£40.
The £40 did also include a ton of glue, a ton of duct tape, and also a new glue gun and glue sticks. And
whoa, that sounds like half the budget. Wow.
I was going to say also something like 25 yards of Velcro, because it was fairly cheap to buy quite a lot. So the majority of my budget was actually getting stuff to actually just combine the actual components I was going to make it out of.
What do you make it out of?
It is all mostly card with foam layered over the top, Velcro. I'm never using that stuff again. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't.
Velcro's horrible to sew.
I mean, things like the head was made out of like a template of card. The padding was made out of cotton wool and masking tape, and then the actual fur or the leopard pattern was a dress I found in a charity shop for something like £2 or £3, something like that. I was prepared to buy the material and paint it, but I literally it was like the last shop of the day. It was about to close in 5 minutes. I was like, oh, I'll have a look. There's probably nothing. And I see a nearly full-length dress of grey leopard print. And it was like, it was meant to be. So,
yeah,
it was a case of, it was mainly a case of what can I afford? What can I get? And then making it out of that, as opposed to finding certain materials to make something in particular. But it all worked out. It kind of fell apart as I was wearing it a little bit, but
cosplay repair kits are for.
Yes, lots of that. And I attended all 4 days of EGX last year, and I entered all the masquerades because I just wanted to. And on the first day, I won Best Individual. First time I've won anything, and like first time, especially to win anything for a costume or anything like that. So that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And can't have looked too bad.
Okay, so it is indeed possible then for just less than £40. Because again, this is new territory for me, because as I was doing research,
not for me, because I've done panels on cosplay on a budget, because people always come up to me and go, "Oh my god, you spend so much on your cosplays." I'm like, no, I don't. I'm such a cheap cosplayer. I go to charity shops, I go to Primark, I go to supermarkets, but charity shops are my favourite. Because you can get pretty much everything in there. But like I have, for probably my Punk Marius is probably like about £20. Basically just used some jeans and boots that I already had. I used some scraps of like fabric and material and buttons and things that I already kind of had, and then bought a £10 jacket, cut the sleeves off, chopped into it loads. I already had the wig, I just sprayed it red, and then got some fabric pens and a £2.50 t-shirt from Primark and went, draw, sorted, done. So yeah, that was about 20 quid.
Okay, because again, I did some research and pretty much discovered that quite a lot can be done for like within the 50 quid range. A little bit higher, about up to 100 quid. But again, if you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, most brought costumes, I think it's a story I haven't actually told yet. But one of the reasons why I started getting serious about my cosplaying was because the first brought costume I had, the Connor, which obviously I still rock Connor. That's my staple thing I'm always going to do, was rubbish. I paid £270 for the costume, but in the end it cost about 320 because I had to have it shipped. I had to had it shipped, shipped from the other side of the world so that it would arrive for a con in time. And when I got it, I realized this sucks. It was like, well, yeah, when I say the camera never lies, yes, it bloody does, because it's like, pictures. They made the costume look really, really epic, but when you actually get it, you realize, what the hell is this? This is just garbage. So started my quest for, well, making it better. So I started off by modifying it, but still, a bought costume. So for me, for me, anything less than like £250 is I would consider cheap. But when I was doing research now, I've discovered quite many people. I can't remember. Again, this was only one forum, but we had well over 36 responses. But quite a massive number of people were making stuff within the 50 quid range, and some of them were like stuff you would not believe.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff. I mean, I obviously just modify a lot of stuff, but I can get fabric so cheaply if it's on sale in the fabric shop. You're sorted. I went to a fabric sale the other day. I was like, yes.
They often have things like cutouts and stuff like that, like excess trims that they don't use. And often they'll sell them for 10p. And if you only want a small piece of material, but you don't want it by the metre or you don't want it by the half metre, a 10p piece or two 10p pieces of slightly smaller bits, and that might be all you need.
Charity shops as well, like you said, there's a charity shop in Blackpool that has everything for £1, and it's amazing because obviously you can find loads of fabric in there that literally is like an old t-shirt or it's a shirt or something like that, and you just kind of go, right, I'll have you for £1, I'll take you home and wash you, and then I'll just cut you up. I can use you for a pattern, I'll use it for fabric, I'll use it for all sorts of different things. But
okay, I mean, wow. Well, I mean, that's answering some of the last category, but I guess we can definitely move on to what I think is one of the most contentious issues. Surely people need to be set up, you need equipment such as a sewing machine, glue gun, powder tools, etc., which in itself can be expensive. And I was inquiring about this because I've seen a lot of these really terrible cheap sewing machines for 30 quid, and those little miniature ones for £25 and stuff like that. And I think the ongoing advice was avoid the plague, and I think the ongoing theme I got was any starting sewing machine is going to cost you 100 quid, and you think about it, that's a lot of money. 100 quid.
That's a hell of a lot of money.
I have a sewing machine that's a brother. Let me just get the model number because it's right behind my computer. It's an LS14 and it's from Hobbycraft and it's about 70 quid, and it's a beast. It goes through anything. It's amazing.
I think that if you do a lot of material stuff, if you're going to be using that machine on nearly every single cosplay, and for most of your cosplays throughout, and like you say, it'll sew through pretty much anything, so it doesn't even have to be just fabric, then it's a great investment. It's a lot of money to start with, but if you look at that £70 over, say you do cosplaying for the next 30 years, £70 is nothing. And also just depends how many costumes you make out of it as well. If you're to make 5 costumes a year for 10 years or whatever, you get a hell of a lot of, it's worth the money. For example, me, I don't use a lot, at the moment I don't use a lot of actual fabric or anything I need to sew together, so for me it would be quite wasteful because I don't need it, or not yet at least, and I don't see myself using it just yet. So I'll just hand sew stuff for the time being, because that's the cheapest and the only option I really need. So it also depends what kind of cosplay you want to do, I think, as well, because if you are doing like big industrial stuff or things that need a lot of like big chunky foam pieces and all those sorts of things, and you're going to need a good glue gun, good glue, that sort of stuff. And so to spend a bit more money on that sort of thing might be really beneficial. Again, I've got a cheapy £7 one, you know, because that's all I need to use it for. So I think it depends on what sort of thing you want to create as well. You can manage your costs that way.
Yeah, because I'm more of a fabric cosplayer than a sort of props and sort of wigs cosplayer. I'm more of a fabric cosplayer. But see, my big tip as well is basically share tools with other people. So if you've got somebody else that you know is also a cosplayer sort of local to you, or someone else that maybe like a family member or something that has a sewing machine you can borrow. But like me and my friend, literally because we're quite close, we end up like basically sharing materials. So she'll come around and use my machine, and I'll use like her Dremel and her glue gun. So we kind of tend to share the cost, obviously, of both of those. But like I said, family members, I mean, to be honest, so many people that I know have got sewing machines like somewhere in the attic or the basement, or, you know, you go on Free Cycle or somewhere like that, you can pick one up for free. You know, you can get one, you know, easily. It's not difficult, to be honest. You can get a good one as well, you know, you don't have to get a rubbish one, you know, but like you said, you know, it's all about what kind of costumes you want to make, you know, if you're not going to sew very much, there's no point getting a sewing machine. Like, for me, there's no point getting a Dremel, because I wouldn't really use it very often.
Okay, because I think, again, this is alien territory for me, because yeah, my average costumes are about £150, but that's because, again, I do period costumes, and I choose to obviously use really expensive materials, because again, I just think they're a lot nicer. And in my case, I'm a character specialist, so I'm going to be the same character. I'm going to probably wear the same costume over and over again. Whereas a lot of people, which, to be honest, makes more sense. If you're only going to wear a costume once for an event, then yeah, you probably should not be spending that kind of money on a costume. Whereas, but
then that's another budget tip, is like that. I again kind of tend to say to people, you know, rewear your costumes, reuse your costumes, like, and if you're not using it anymore, recycle it. You know, so many costumes that I have little bits that I use in different costumes, like wigs, especially because they're a big investment. So if you can use the same wig for like a few different costumes, that's great. You know, I have like a long brown wig that I kind of use for loads of different costumes.
No, it's good to be able to multi-use stuff, because then you've bought it once and that's it, and then you've got that until it dies or falls apart or whatever. So it certainly keeps costs down to just reuse stuff, and you can paint it or dress it up to look slightly different as well. So
like Danny
really
does, you can just literally sit there and just rewear that costume because you love that character. And I'm the same, you know, I'm a character cosplayer myself, so I have still actually rewear my first cosplay I ever did, which was 2 years ago, and it was Sirius Black. I still wear it now. Just because I love the character.
Okay. Because I guess we're getting on to the third subject, which we've discussed about in the first. Again, I probably should have done something about these questions now. What can people really do to save money? Do compromises have to be made? Because again, I think that was one of the suggestions. Like, perhaps you should not be the Lich King. Perhaps I don't know. It kind of sounds horrible, but it's like, yeah, you want to be the Lich King, but it's like, no, maybe you should aim a little later. Maybe you should be Ash Ketchum. That sort of.
L from Death Note. Yeah, that's usually my tip in my panel.
Whoa! What's that interference?
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Oh, actually, funny enough, somebody else said that recently as well. No, L from Death Note is probably easy. I would even go as far as to say, was it Shinji Ikari from Evangelion was probably easier, since you don't actually have to put any makeup on. You just wear a white shirt, and I think that's it. His outfit is just basically a white shirt and the black trousers, and yeah. Yeah, I'm defy anyone to think of any easier costume than Shinji Ikari. Well, obviously minus the normal school version, not the plug suit version, that would be quite expensive.
The thing is, like Sophie's proved as well, you can do armor type cosplays as well, like very, very cheaply. You can use foam, you can use card. It's about what materials you use as well.
Yeah, I think that I mean, if you if you really want to keep costs down and things like that, then it's like looking at cheap materials or what you can get for free at warehouses or where I work. It sounds crazy, but the card, like the A4 card bits that are used to stop the carbon from going from one imprinted sheet to another on like service reports and stuff like that. My boss gets a whole load of them, and he went, well, I'm just going to recycle them. Do you want them? Yeah, go for it. And I'd get about 40 to 50 pieces of these A4 card, and that's what I made the Armour King. That's what I made the Armour King outfit out of, basically. So I didn't have to pay anything for the card. And people are good to say, oh, well, I'm getting rid of this. Can you use it or anything like that? It doesn't have to be expensive materials, and it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be sort of weird and wonderful to get what you want. I was listening to some of the panels at EGX, I think it was last year and the year before, where they were talking about sort of Warbler and stuff like that, and stuff that I've never heard of because not really into cosplay and stuff like that. And then this lady was wearing like a piece on her leg and a piece like a chest piece, and she said that just those bits alone were 50 quid. And I was like, what? I was like, I can't. I personally, I mean, if you can do that and you want to do that, go for it. I'm not judging it or anything like that. But for me, I'm like, wow, that's a utility bill for me. So it's like, okay, what can I get for free? If I can't get it for free, how cheap can I get it? And then I only use those items. And if I can get something just a little bit over cost, then it depends how much I really need that, or how much what can I use instead of that. And it's a good challenge as well. It's actually quite fun to try and what the hell am I going to use for Armour King teeth? I don't know. I tried everything. And eventually I just cut up pieces of sponge and painted them like household, wash your dishes sponges. And you can get a pack of them,
So you went full on Blue Peter then?
I am Blue Peter cosplay. Yeah. Just sponges and card and, anything, tape, and I mean, duct tape is amazing. It saved me so many times,
Duct tape. No, I respect that again, because I think one of my first cosplay props, actually, I've actually still got it. Hold up, let me bring it out. Much editing later. Yeah, much editing later. You can barely see it, but yeah, I've got an architect tube.
Nice.
And come foam wrapped over it with, well, it wasn't duct tape, it was electrical tape to form a simple bazooka.
Yes, that works.
There
Works really well.
Which, funny enough, because it's a long tube, also doubled as a holder, so I was carrying my swords inside.
Useful. A useful prop. I like useful props.
So yeah, so not only was it useful, and unfortunately it's bent. Oh, darn.
Oh, broken prop.
Oh man, how the hell did that happen? Oh, never mind. But
just a bit of duct tape, you'll be fine.
But yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a nice, handy storage containing type thing, and yeah, this was my first prop, which was just two swords, just not even glued in. They were chopped at the end, and I just pushed them together. So it was like because normally when you buy these swords, they're a normal horrid thing like that, but nope. Chop one down the middle, stick it together. I put it all together. I got myself a nice katana for about $5, I think.
Nice.
Which probably is actually more. But nowadays, if I was to do it from scratch, yeah, I probably would use all those grandiose materials. So it'd be one piece, and it would be as wibbly wobbly as it is now.
Well, the thing for me is, I always say, like, when you're working on a budget, it's all about like having more time to search for things and like improving your own skills, being willing to sort of say, okay, right, I'll give this a go and see what happens. Basically, if you've got the time to sit there, or you've got the time to order like a wig from China and it takes like 30 days to get there, but it's a lot cheaper, then you've got time. If you're having to order one from like the UK, then it's having to be a lot quicker. Then you're probably going to pay a bit more. You know, if you're willing to improve your skills and go, okay, I'll make that myself. You know, out of card or out of papier mâché. It's another good sort of thing that I tend to use as well for budget stuff. You know, you're going to save money at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think that, you know, if you, like you say, if you've got the time to actually experiment with different materials. I mean, card could just be card, but if you were to, like you say, you can use card as it is. You can like weave it. You can overlay it. You can do all sorts of other things with it to get completely different effects. But you need the time. So if you don't have the time, you may need to get something that's maybe that little bit more expensive that could give you the result pretty much instantly. But I think if you really want to budget stuff, then you do just need that time to just think, okay, what can I use very few things into lots of many different things, and spending lots of late nights trying to figure that one out.
Yeah, I have some friends, a little bit like Danny is, who are like super accuracy focused. Like, oh my god, I have to be so accurate. My friend Rob is super accurate. But then I kind of say to them, like, okay, just try cutting down on like one thing. Just maybe try like just budgeting on one item of your cosplay and see what happens with it. You know, take your time with it and just make a really small budget for that one thing, and then just see what happens. And then from there, hopefully, it'll kind of spread out a bit more, and you might have a bit more budget stuff, you know. And just like you said, you know, see what you can pick up for free. Like you can go to like a furniture shop, for example, that do say leather sofas. A lot of them will have leather offcuts, very cheap. So that, you know, it's beautiful leather as well. So that's quite nice. It's quite a good tip.
You mentioned leather advice because going back to the friend I just helped out because he's entering the Euro Cosplay Gathering. I just took him to Camden Lock Market, and his eyes kind of popped out at the thought that you can indeed buy leather jackets and trousers for just a tenner, because he was like fully prepared to splurge out for like 60 quid on from leather trousers. And oddly enough, they were even brown ones, because I thought at first, you can only get black ones, but no, you can get some brown ones. Yeah, it's leather, but some of them they're fake leather, but at the end of the day, it's a tenner, so who cares? But still, he saved quite a considerable amount of money from just getting some second-hand leather, which was a bit oxymoronic, because previously that day I took him to Goldhawk Road, and he kind of brought a hide of real leather, which was like 30 quid, except it was a nice big piece, and it was a really nice piece of leather. But as you say, that's like the cost of your cosplays, isn't it, Sophie?
I think when you do budget yourself, everything is usable. Like old clothes, or I used to work in charity shops, so I know what the sorts of things that sort of come in, and you can buy. If you go into your local charity shop and they do what are called sort of rag stuff, which is stuff that they can't sell because it's either damaged or torn, or it might have a small stain or something like that, and they bag it up and it gets recycled, so they get money for it. But if you literally want like a bag of just material that might be ripped, might be a little bit stained somewhere, but like you say, you can wash it, or you can cut that bit out, or what have you. You can go in there and like buy a bag full of material that they were going to recycle for, probably give them a little bit more than what they'd recycle it for, but you're still talking like a pound maybe for a black sack of stuff. The stuff you can get in charity shops, eBay's great. You can get some stuff it seems cheap, but it's actually not. You know, you get that sort of borderline stuff.
eBay I find is a bit of a minefield. Like sometimes you can get some amazing stuff on eBay, so cheap, and then sometimes you just get some absolute crap that doesn't. You're just like, oh god, okay, I guess I'm reusing that for something else then. Yeah,
again, it's like doing your research and having the time to go, okay, is it really cheaper there, or is it cheaper if I go into a store, or anything like that. Like the Velcro I bought was like I say, about 25 yards worth, but I know I'm gonna use it. It was so useful for Armor King, and I'm going to be using it again for my next cosplay. So it's something.
That's another thing as well, is like buying in bulk, something like that, or foam as well. You can buy in bulk. and get loads of it. And then, you know, for example, if you've got some, again, friends that are cosplayers, you can kind of go, hey, do you fancy some... I basically do like exchanges with my friend. I kind of go, you know, they've got some foam and I've got some fabric, and I kind of go, right, okay, let's exchange, you know.
That's brilliant.
We kind of do things like that because it just makes more sense.
Definitely. I mean, if you're going to use something they're not, then it's a no-brainer, you know.
Sweet. And right. What was the other cheap thing then? Oh yeah, that was it. Probably have to put some links into the descriptions and all that. But there was this scheme. There's one in Wales where these companies, they throw out tons and tons of stuff. Yeah, like I said, you know, levers from the car industry, couple of plastic stuff. Probably should remember the name again. It'll probably magically scroll on the screen right now. But it was like some scheme where a lot of these waste goods would be deposited at a depot, and if you pay this sort of a nominal membership fee, you can just basically help yourself to what essentially is waste, but again, it's going to be really useful for us because, you know, again, we're talking about big pieces of levers, some foam, stuff like that, and should have remembered that name.
You'll remember it afterwards.
Yeah. Again, it'll probably be scrolling along down there. But one of my cosplay friends introduced me to that. Unfortunately, this scheme is around her area, which is in Wales. But I don't know if there was another depot that was around the UK. But it was, it definitely sounded like a cool idea to me. It's like one man's garbage is another man's treasure.
Definitely.
Because I remember, there was pictures of somebody just showing these tons and tons of these yoga mats, which were just waste. But it was a case of, oh my god, EVA foam.
Sorry, my cat's being very loud.
Moggy, which is kind of appropriate since we have a cute kitten making up for the fact that we're only a 3 people show today.
He could be a cute cat too, see? Cute cat.
Looks a bit grumpy.
He is when I've just grabbed him, yeah. But he's being very loud, so I had to kind of shut him up. But yeah, what I was going to say as well, like, my friend works in a supermarket, and she basically
supermarkets, yes.
She's used some of the long, like, things that you use at the edge of the shelves, and she's used it for swords, and she said it's amazing for swords. And obviously you can pick it up for free at work, and it's like, well.
What do you just say? I work at a supermarket too, and yeah, that is actually just waste product. That's just, you just find them dumped, and it was like, it's got no uses, along with those little till roll sort of plasticky things, which, again, you could probably use for gun barrels or revolver stuff, and surprisingly, a lot of waste. Surprisingly, a lot of waste is useful. I need some Pringle tubes at the moment because I want to make a stick of dynamite. So
it is good because you can look at, like you said, things like packaging. Once you've finished using it, you start looking at stuff going, that would be really good for that, or that would be really good for a gun. That would be really good for a mask. That would be really good for you start cosplay shopping in just normal shops, and you start being able to see what you can make out of those things. And we do that in the house. If there's something that we have used and we look at, go, actually, we'll keep that because I think that I can use that for an eye for something, or you can get a lot of bits and pieces just by, like you say, rubbish or stuff that you'd actually throw away or recycle.
Excellent. So, all right, so I guess that wraps it up nicely then. It's indeed, you can, you just have to be creative. I mean, I guess I should have thrown in more examples again. I'll probably do it in post, add in some of the examples that we used where, indeed, it, as you were saying earlier, it is just a mad factor of time because one of my friends, again, this is still kind of a bit expensive, but for £100 she made a Rohirrim from Lord of the Rings. Now, in the grand scheme of things, if you can make a costume for 100, especially a costume like out of Lord of the Rings for £100, that is a bargain because I'm trying to remember now, all the replica stuff, especially the wetter replica stuff, is mad expensive.
Yeah, it's really expensive.
£100, you'll be lucky to get one of Legolas's daggers.
Interesting you say that. I'm working on Legolas at the moment, but he is not a budget cosplayer at the moment. His fabric is actually, but his props, I basically commissioned my friend Rob to do his props because they are beautiful. But they're not cheap. But actually, they're a good price, though. They're a good price for what they are. Like, I wish I was downstairs now, because I have my bow downstairs, and it's gorgeous. But if you're going to LFCC, he'll be doing a props panel, and apparently my leg is a part of that props panel, so, you know.
Okay,
It will be there.
Okay, but again, a nice example, which I've just spoken about it, and hopefully in post I'll remember to add that in. My friend Steph, she did a Rohirrim, and that took her like 10 months. So, wow. So yeah, and that was done for just 100. Yeah, that was just done for 100 quid. But again, if you definitely say if you got the skill and the patience, then okay, that wraps us up nicely. So the conclusion is, yeah, you can indeed make decent costumes. The problem is you got to spend the time, and I think skill unfortunately is definitely a factor. But again, if you do anything long enough, you'll definitely get better at it. Again, I've only been doing it 2 years, and I could definitely say the new Arno I'm making is a lot superior to the previous one, which was a lot more expensive and stuff. But again, time is definitely a big equation, because time. And anything else you want to say to finish up?
I was going to say, you also made your old Arno in a week, wasn't it, as well? So, like, you had time
No,
limit.
that was Jacob. No, that was Jacob.
Oh, it was Jacob, okay.
Yeah, that's the new assassin, because again, it was only announced. Yeah, I just thought it would just be fun. Oh, wow, they just announced this new assassin. Could I, because it just happened to be MCM a week later, I thought, could I just for the hell of it, just make him in a week? I thought, oh yeah, I could make him in a week. Though that still ended up as quite a fairly pricey costume. Let's see, how much did I pay for that? Yeah, I always... £219. But that was, funny enough, that wasn't for most of the fabric. That was for things like a top hat that was like 50 quid from Camden Market. There was also,
there you go then, yeah.
There was also things like the prop gun, which, well, actually no, it didn't include a prop gun, because I think recently I've actually separated the budget from props to the costumes, because obviously if I sell a costume, I'm not going to factor in the prop. But
again, I mean, you could probably use that prop for some of your other cosplays as well, and you can use a top hat. You know, you can use them for other things. That's how I justify like more expensive things. Because sometimes with a budget cosplay, like I've got a Black Widow cosplay, it's literally just a black dress and some heels, so it's super cheap, super simple. But because I basically bought a wig from Arda, because I couldn't find like the sort of like curly-ish red hair that she's got, sort of in a bob. I couldn't find that anywhere, and I searched for ages. So I kind of justified it in that I wear it for other cosplays as well. And also it makes the cosplay be better, because I've got a nice wig with it. You know, it wouldn't be the same cosplay if I just used my own hair and try and curled it and stuff. It wouldn't look the same. So because it's a super simple cosplay, sometimes you need something like to make it better. And maybe like that one extra that just makes it, it's a little bit more expensive, but makes it better, is a good expense.
Definitely.
Okay. And again, I've said we're going to wrap it up nicely 3 times now, but nope, this is definitely the end. So all that's left to do is thank you very much. Thank you very much, Melanie, and thank you, Sophie. Where can we find you if anyone wants to find you?
Sorry, say that again. I lost you for a moment.
Okay. So like I said, where can people find you if you want to be found? So you got like a Twitter, you got a Facebook, or?
I am hopefully going to be making a Facebook, and hopefully going to be making some how I made Armor King and Sophie Kane and all that kind of stuff on YouTube. So they're being edited, and they will be on YouTube. Now that I'm announcing it, I suppose they'll be hopefully on YouTube soon. But I've yet to sort of get myself together with all that, as I'm still a bit new to all this. So, but yeah, you'll be seeing some how to make Armor King on YouTube soon.
Excellent. Okay then. Adios, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.